with this presentation, and let's go from here. Are you guys seeing my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So the seed oils. Here we go. Oops. Uh, yeah. I I I call it why seed oils are bad, and I mean bad. It's just bad, and I'm going to explain why. So let's do a quick breakdown of fats and oils. Basically, we talked about MCT oils and saturated oils and all the kind of things and the fats. Uh, we will also address later on the whole cholesterol issue because that's another important thing. That's another fat as well. But now, for now, let's make a split in saturated fats, monounsaturated fats, and polyunsaturated fats. The saturated fats are all the fats you find, and probably you're all eating everything. So the saturated fats are the coconut oil, milk, butter, cream, cheese, meat, fish, basically animal fats. So that's the saturated fats. Monounsaturated fats are olive oils, avocado oils, peanut oils, and polyunsaturated fats. The PUFAs are seed oils, vegetables. That's both names, seed oils and vegetable oils, are the names for the oils like sunflower oil, rapeseed oil, soy oil, and corn oil. And there are basically 8 polyunsaturated fats that are harmful. But the main you see in the groceries and in the supermarkets are sunflower, rapeseed oil, soy oil, and corn oil. All right. So let's quickly look at how seed oils are made. And of course, my thing in the point is seed oils are extremely refined and manufactured food. Um, First, there is extreme heat and pressure needed to extract the oil from the seeds. So the seeds, if you eat the seeds, they're okay. I mean, seeds are perfect. Little seeds, all the sunflower seeds and everything. If you put it in your yogurt and together with some nuts and everything, that's perfectly all right. But we are talking here about the extraction of oil from the seeds, and the only way to do that is with extreme heat and pressure. And that creates a toxic crude oil. It is inedible and it stinks. It's not clear. It's milky and it has highly toxic byproducts. And I'm going to spare you all the details, but if you dive into the process of production of seed oils, it's a really extensive process of I mean 40 or 50 steps, chemical steps to produce it. Then after the creation of the crude oil, of course there has to be a multi-step chemical refining process and a deodorization process. The multi-step chemical refining process is to get rid of the toxic byproducts and also to get rid of the toxicity inside of the crude oil. And these processes are openly, they're public. So all the production sites, basically the chemical plants of seed oils, they use the same processes and they are described by chemical institutions. So they are available. And Dr. Shanahan made a nice listing of all the refining processes that are required to basically create the oils we are eating. And then you have the refining and the deodorization. And then you have the colorization because the refined seed oil is colorless. So the yellow, the sun color, is artificially added. Of course, it are good artificial colorants, but still the kind of the sun in the bottle kind of thing we learned is artificial. And then they are stored in bottles that are PFAS bottles. So they are weak plastics. Okay. And so the problem with the seed oils is not the seeds, but it is how it's made. And the problem is the toxicity and the oxidation. And let's say that most of the toxicity is away because of the refinement and everything. The seed oils in itself are unstable. So their molecular structure is that they are unstable in terms of oxidation. So they create open spots in the molecule to oxidate. And it's not just one spot, it is many spots in the molecule that make them prone for oxidation. And that already starts in the production process because you have extreme heat and the pressure and everything. And then you have the refining process. So it is opened to through the defining to oxygen and everything. And then you have the storage, uh, the UV, because even inside the bottle, the oxidation can start with the help of UV or with the sun. Then you have the opening once the bottle is opened. Then you have the cooking, again adding heat, and then you have the uh, PFAS in the body because the whole body, our system, is full of oxygen. So the oxidation keeps going on and on and on. And the metaphor I read is somewhere is that a tree isn't toxic, but a burnt tree is. And for me, that's a good explanation. That's a good metaphor of what happens of exposing the heated and the pressed seeds to basically to oxygen. That's the same what happened with the trees, and of course we all know when you burn wood, then uh, everything that comes from it and remains is toxic. So oxidation leads to oxidative stress in your body. That's known. That's just a normal uh, medical known and also biological known. And that has to do with free radicals. And there are so much theories and books written about that. Uh, but the thing is that oxidative stress in our cells leads to inflammation, any kind of inflammation. And inflammation is the root cause for diseases, for allergies. Uh, I mean, all the so-called the Western diseases that have no real cause of like a certain virus or a certain bacteria. All these Western diseases basically have to do with inflammation. That's another medical fact. And the body fights the oxidative stress with antioxidants. And that's another process that we have. But the fight in our body is limited. And there is a tipping point. So that is one side of the uh, use of seed oils, of the processed seed oils. That's the whole basically the oxidation and inflammation issue. And then there is the storage thing. So uh, it is now already proven because that's also with all kind of tests, with real body tests and everything, with autopsies and everything, that you can measure the consumption of seed oils in the human body leads to our body fat, which is mainly saturated fat, to store polyunsaturated fats in much higher amounts as well. And that's measured. I mean, that's also like in the book, but also, I mean, there are many studies that of from scientists that prove that. And that starts in the belly region, and that's all what we all know. That's the visceral fat around the organs, and in normal language, that's called the toxic fat. Uh, and that's the type of fat that is fluffier. And I know it myself because everybody has a little bit around the belly, in the belly area. The visceral fat is is weaker, it is fluffier than, for instance, if you have your fat here on your shoulder, if you feel it, it has a different density than the visceral fat. And what happens in our society, that entire body of basically human beings is slowly swapped towards polyunsaturated fats. And doctors who are studying this and who are working with patients, uh, so not only diabetes patients, but obese patients and everything, they immediately recognize it because the faces and everything is becoming more fluffier. And that is basically because it is um, the body fat is swapped with polyunsaturated body fats. And now here's the thing. The polyunsaturated body fats do not generate sufficient energy for our energy creation process in our mitochondria. And that is the essential um, energy process that we have in our mitochondria is the ADP ATP cycle, the Krebs cycle, the change of uh, adenosine triphosphate into adenosine diphosphate. And that creates energy. And that's the basic energy cycle in your cells inside of your mitochondria. And that is where basically also, for your information, creatine is needed. So creatine is needed in the most essential process of energy creation in the mitochondria. And the PUFA body fats do not generate sufficient energy. So because of the unsaturated fats are slowly taking the place of PUFAs, plus the toxicity and everything, we are not in such a healthy situation. And our body's reaction is looking for other types of energy supply, because the more and more your body fat is exists of PUFAs and is not that efficient energy supply, you're looking for other ways of creating energy, which is of course sugar. So the brain is clever, and the brain says, "Hey, I want you to look for sugar," and that's the whole hormonal process that's behind what's happening. The brain is telling you, "Hey, I need energy. I'm not getting ketones. I'm not getting enough glucose. So you have to find quick sugars," and that's basically what your brain is telling you. And I'm shutting you down. I don't want you to be active because my the brain is the last thing the human body wants to be active and fully 100% in charge. So the brain says, okay, I'm going to shut down activity. I'm going to release hormones that shut down activity, and I'm going to make you search for sugars. And then we are overeating sugars because you always overeating sugars because the storage in your body of sugars is very, very limited. Well, then you get the whole cycle of insulin resistance, prediabetes, diabetes, weight gain, and obesity. So that's quite a dark, I realize that, but it's quite a dark uh, story of what's going on today in our society. All right. And then we have the new phenomenon uh, that's being hangry. And hangry is a term that our scientists and doctors are researching nowadays. So, okay, quick explanation. Seed oils overconsumption leads to insulin resistance, and the refined sugars overconsumption leads to insulin resistance. Basically, the whole, basically the refined meals and everything uh, lead to insulin resistance. And together with the process of the oils in your body not being efficient, saturated anymore, but becoming PUFAs, which don't deliver the right amounts of energy, a new social phenomenon is happening these days, which is called being hungry. And that's the energy system of the body doesn't work properly. You have violent sugar cravings, no control of the urge to immediately eat sugars. And if I am honest, Marlies and I even have in our friends circle of our intimate friends, friends who have these moments that they say, I must eat. I mean, uh, we did some cycling. I must eat now. I really must eat. They are really, they're craving for uh, immediately eating. Um, so we know it. And now this is defined as hangry. And it's frightening if you realize that in the USA, 90% of the population is pre insulin resistant in terms of, well, you guys know the numbers now, in terms of pre-diabetes between 100 and 120, and they're feeling tired. And it is research now, it's new, but over 50% of people in the USA are hangry, have this sensation of uncontrollable urge to eat every day, many times. And that's really frightening, guys. That's I mean the dark calories. That's also the conclusion of hers. And uh, Marlies and I must admit that we in all the calls we do, with all the people we meet, all the cold calls, people are from outside. Uh, I have to say that I really meet people that not, I can. Of course, I'm not saying, but this is what I hear through the lines, and I mean through what they are saying, what's happening. They are saying, "Hey, my energy since COVID is way and things, and I don't feel that powerful anymore. I want to run marathons the way I did 20 years ago." But basically, probably what we believe is that this is going on behind the scenes. And this is a quick side note, but this is why dieting with a calorie deficit doesn't work. And in fact, it makes it worse because the cortisol and the adrenaline hormones deepen the hungriness. And so once you stop with the with the diet or during the diet, people are going crazy, and they're getting mentally unstable, and basically they shut down the body's activity completely. And then as soon as the diet stops, they're back and even worse. Um, all right, now there is a new term, the half-life of the polyunsaturated fats in the body, and the bad news is the bad news is the half-life measured scientifically measured half-life of polyunsaturated fats in the body is 2 years. So that's, that's a long time before you uh, have the amount of polyunsaturated fat. The good news is that not all your body fat, of course, are PUFAs yet, but we have to be careful. So, and the second good news is it's not difficult to restore the good fats and to get rid of the PUFAs in the body fats. That's not difficult because that's a natural process as well. So how to get rid of the PUFAs in the body? That is simply quit. That is simply quit all the seed oils and the vegetable oils, and quit all the refined sugars and processed foods. And I noted vegan because the whole vegan industry is um, immense with creating processed food with vegetable and seed oils and with sugars. It's if Marlies and I, we considered going vegan, but it's so difficult to really go healthy vegan. And every product, every little new product you find in the supermarket that's called vegan or vegetarian, if you look at what's in there, it's packed with sugars and with seed oils. So how to get rid of it is just to enjoy the good food twice a day. What we're talking about, there are plenty of choices. And then here you go, of course, and of course, how we get to this program and our mission for Marlies and I to kind of really, really promote our mission is to, I mean, autophagy and sleep, have have a good sleep quality, fasting, any type of fasting, a morning fast, intermittent fasting, a 40 hours fast, a 3 hours sardines fast. All fasting is an incredible way of shutting down your metabolism for a moment and then making your body make the change back to the real and the normal way of metabolism, which is, of course, the biggest part has to come from fat metabolism and not from going from one sugar craving to the other one. And the other thing is, as I mean, there are dozens of doctors promoting this, and even our local doctor here where we live, and finally in the house doctors, the the importance of exercise um, is really, it's becoming a lifestyle. So of course, all the things I share with you, that's not already there. You know, our food administrations and our health administrations, they're all still on the old side with the reasoning of the saturated fats and things. They are the source of clogging arteries and all the kind of things. But now finally, it's getting accepted that it's really the opposite, and that exercise with autophagy, with fasting, uh, with the good fats, and uh, the different type of eating that we're doing is the answer to basically what we want to achieve. And exercise combined with the um, uh, the new topics like what we that's what Marlies and I developed, DDD, the daily dose of discomfort, PRS, the plyometric response system, which is basically running or anything that is the pounding on your body, and the MIM, the maximum intensity moment every day. Uh, that's probably a good mixture of what really helps you to reverse the process and to kind of regain that natural healthy body. So again, same picture as last time. It's not that bad because basically this type of food is what you can eat. So it's not really that bad. And all right, so and quickly, my main source or our main source is all the for this little presentation and where we are so far with what we the kind of the project and the process we're doing together with you guys is what based on the research Marlies and I did for the past years, and now this book with I just counted today 344 independent researches and resources are mentioned in the book and are referred to in every statement and every conclusion or the kind of thinking and iteration of thinking she does in the book. It's always supported with scientific research. And that's impressive. And that's very helpful. And I think it's a blessing that nowadays we have these kind of publicly available uh, sources for new knowledge. And, you know, to conclude, guys, um, I have been raised with my mother putting the sunflower oil on the table and putting the margarine on the table instead of the real butter and everything. So we all have been, I mean, influenced by these industries uh, to basically accept that um, these bottles are the sun in a bottle. They are helpful for heart and diseases and for everything. And yeah, I came to the conclusion nowadays, based on all what these people are saying, that it's really the opposite. It's difficult to accept, but I'm here now with you guys, and hopefully uh, we can reverse this whole process. All right. So I hope I haven't been too somber, too negative or dark in my presentation this time, but it's also a reality. So, well, guys, hello, Sharon. Hello, Daniel. So please go ahead with questions. Of course, I recorded this, so uh, you can always review. Of course, the book is there. Um, you can order it yourself. It's a thick book. It's the 400 pages, so it's not really something you read in a weekend. And it's also the type of book that Marlies and I are studying, and we're going very slow because every 10 pages you read, you have to reread and you have to discuss, and you have to discuss the implications of what you're reading. So it's heavy stuff. I must say but it's worth, I think, for everybody to really absorb and understand.
Well, I just wanted to say that I was born in late 1958, so I'm 66, and I can remember very distinctly watching television shows with commercials, and the commercials were saying, buy this because it's loaded with polyunsaturated fats, which is the best kind of fat you can have. You don't want
Yes,
to have saturated fats. That's terrible for you. And frankly, part of the challenge of being healthy is the changing science. I mean, I can remember when eggs were horrible. Don't eat eggs, never eat an egg. And next thing you know, wait a minute, it's a perfect food. It's a great way to get your protein. So these things, and it's a lot of work to keep up with what's currently the conventional wisdom. So, it's very eye-opening to see, and I think everybody understands how margarine, which was really hyped
yeah,
in the 60s and 70s, has gone out the window. I mean, even if you go into a diner, you almost never see a packet of margarine when they bring you toast or something like that. It's always pats of butter now. But it's really fascinating just and I know a lot of it is marketing and a lot of it is food science and big food. These companies that want you to buy their margarine or their corn oil, that's how they make their money. So they're going to try to talk you into doing something that ends up not being very good for you.
absolutely, Anthony. Yes. Yeah. Marlies and I just today we're listening to a study of these injections people can do now to lose weight against obesity. And but and it works. But the thing is, the underlying reason why you are obese are not there. So there was one lady who said, like, imagine how crazy it is that the industries that made us obese, and now again we have to so we have to finance the industries who made us obese, and now we have to buy the stuff again to put in our bodies to help us to get away from it. It's I mean it's and here in the Netherlands, it is really now these injections are on the edge of being accepted by all the health administrations, and are even going to get covered by insurances. And if you think about it, then I mean, yeah,
Yeah, it's crazy. The
help
U.S.
me
is,
out, guys.
I,
Yeah,
I think you're talking about, that sounds like Ozempic. And then that's a Dutch company. I think that's why it's taken off in the Netherlands first, but they're talking about it in the U.S. Congress too, to put it on insurance. And it's kind of mind boggling to me
yes,
that you'd pay thousands of dollars, and it's never free. As soon as it's a government project, they'll tell you it's free, but it's the company gets thousands of dollars a month for that treatment.
right, yes.
And it's just crazy.
Yes. Yeah. So I mean, what Marlies and I, what we just chose to do is, of course, to keep everything small and define for ourselves. We did it. We did it now for maybe 2 years or maybe 4 or 5 years ago already when we started with the full Ironman. That's basically the only thing you can really do for yourself, for your family, and for your little circle of people you love. That is based on the knowledge we have right now. Adapt and kind of look in the kitchen and everything, and make your new choices, and see what happens from there. And then we started last year with this program, and the only thing we can say is that uh, we feel wonderful based on the new choices, the nutritional choices. And also, we do checkups every year with our doctors, and then we check up cholesterols and all the kind of stuff that doctors, the traditional doctors say, hey, you're healthy if LDL, HDL, and all the kind of basically what they say in the new science rubbish, but it's still the measure. And the thing is that while Marlies and I are eating saturated fats only for a couple of years now, almost no refined sugars, high amounts of fats, all the numbers are wonderful. I mean, also in the on the traditional, they all say, yeah, your numbers are wonderful, and that's not explainable if you I mean if you translate the current wisdom and knowledge of the food agencies, uh, uh, we should be dead by now if you look at what we're eating. And and the other thing, guys, is that with all the uh, thinking they are doing today, uh, there shouldn't be child obesity. If you think about that, because with the thinking and the uh, I mean the logic they have today with the nutrition advices and everything, it's not possible that there should be child obesity with under children, but there is, and it is very bad nowadays. It's obesity under children of that are like 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. It I don't know because I don't know the numbers, but it is reported that there is, I mean, tons of obesity in under children, which is only explainable if you do it from the way I just did. That's the refined foods and the processed foods and the pre-cooked foods and the these acids that are taking the place in your body uh, of the well-performing fat. And that's what happens with the children, with these children's.
I'm going to add two other things that are happening with these children: cell phones
Yeah.
and video games. And I know I sound like an old man telling you to get off my lawn. We would walk to school, we would walk to the playground, we would
Yes.
ride the bike here, we would do that. We were much, much more physically active. Now it's like, pulling teeth to get your kid to go outside and play, because they'd rather stay home and do a video game or social media, another, horrible thing for kids. I mean, horrible thing for anybody in my book, but whatever. I mean, it has its place, but they're overdone to such an extreme that we're making the kids unhealthy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to what Anthony's talking about with foods coming in and foods going out. And it's very interesting to me because in the last 20 plus years, I've pretty much been off processed and bad foods altogether. However, I've been mostly on a plant-based diet, which is trying to get as much organic vegetables and this kind of thing. And I must admit that I'm going to be very interested to hear what Baz has to say on the cholesterol story, because I had, in effect, for the last 20 years, not done any dairy, no milk, no eggs, no cheese, and very little in terms of meat and fish and chicken. And now, with this new diet, I am certainly concerned because I'm going back to cheese, I'm going back to cream, I'm eating a lot more poultry and fish. So, and I check my cholesterol once a year, and I'm going to be interested to see, how it's all working out in my body. But certainly it has me thinking because I feel like the old way of eating with beans and vegetables is very clean burning, but of course it's all highly carbohydrate.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And the um, the cholesterol thing is another topic. And um, uh, the disturbing thing, Brian, is that there are researches now over the years uh, where you see that uh, low or raising cholesterol in the blood cholesterol reduces heart attacks and uh, other diseases that are said to be related to cholesterol. And I am not there. I'm not into it enough yet. So I am studying, but I don't want to just shout what some people are saying. But um, the for me the learning thing, and Marlies, please help me out. But the big thing is that the intake of cholesterol, so basically eating eggs and the things that contain cholesterol, there is no association and no link at all with the level of body cholesterol. So that's a difficult thing because that was always said, if you're eating eggs, you're clogging your arteries and then you get a heart attack. That's what I learned. But there is there's not a single scientific report that is supporting that. And there are now, we've seen a couple of them, scientific reports of the opposite. So that the higher the amount of cholesterol in your body, which basically cholesterol, by the way, is a very essential uh, acid, a fat in your body. It's so essential. All your cells, all the membranes, everything is made of cholesterol. I mean, the brain and everything. So it's so difficult to say, hey, you're eating eggs. You know, here in the Netherlands, the Food Association says you can eat 3 eggs per week, and otherwise you get too. I mean, yes, that's but that's true. That's true. And then otherwise you get too much cholesterol of the egg yellow and everything.
Well,
You see,
I just made almond bread yesterday, and it was 7 eggs, quarter pound of butter, uh, 2 cups of almond flour, and that was about it. Some baking soda and so on. But yeah, I mean that's why I'm saying I'm having slices of this, and my lunch the other day was 4 eggs and an onion. So that's why I'm just saying this is
Yeah.
kind of the opposite to the way I usually eat. You know,
exactly.
and
But
I always thought beans were a really good source of nutrients,
proteins, they are.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. But so Marlies and I are digging into this, and but what so far, what my conclusion is, what I read from all the research is that there is no real correlation between eating uh, cholesterol rich food and um, clogged arteries and that kind of things, because they are caused by different causes simply. So, but it's still there. I mean, most doctors will tell you, and if you Google, so the average knowledge that you see on the internet, if you Google things, then you read the traditional way of, I mean, the way of thinking, because it's crazy what you read if you type in, what do I need to do to, I mean, for not getting a heart attack? They say, yeah, you shouldn't eat fat.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Well, I mean, this is what Anthony's saying is, you read one year, you read one thing is good, the next year it's completely the opposite, and so on and so on. So yeah, it's a crazy world. But we're keeping our neighbors busy because they've got eggs on the go, you know. So we're buying eggs by the dozens now.
yes.
I
Yeah.
have
But
also I've also heard of the studies that show that, and it's an astonishing thing that it should be really more publicized. That there really isn't a good study to show a link between dietary cholesterol and blood cholesterol.
mm,
Now, that's not to say that having high cholesterol, blood cholesterol, doesn't create problems. I don't know
of
about
course,
Boz saying that in some cases higher cholesterol is more healthy, because I think the basic mechanism is really more physics than chemistry. It's
mm,
if you have high cholesterol, LDL, low density lipoproteins, and that creates plaque in the interior of the artery, which creates a clog. And then if the blood can't get through to nourish the heart muscle, then when it's too low and gets cut off, that's when you're going to have a heart attack. So that I think as I'm talking to you now, I still think that's true. Now they'll also say, but if you have high HDL, which generally results from, I think, from high exercise, then that's terrific. And what my doctor also says is he's not as focused on the total cholesterol number as he is the ratio between HDL and LDL. So you can have a raw number that looks high, but when you look at the ratio is fantastic. And my doctors even said to me sometimes, I mean, I think my HDL when I was really training hard was close to 80. And he would say, I don't care about your total cholesterol number. Your ratio is so good. Just keep doing what you're doing. You're fine. So it's nuanced. It's not as simple as saying, oh, high cholesterol is bad, or uh, you know, certainly don't eat now they, of course they also say don't eat fatty foods because it's more calories, and if you're not exercising, the fat's going to go right onto your body and not go off. So, and then there's a big genetic component to the cholesterol as well. There are certain people with have like me cholesterol. And, my doctors forever have been telling me, go on a statin, go on a statin, go on a statin. And I said, no, 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 I'm not going to do it. And then at one point, they said, listen, you run a lot. You've been running for over half a century. You eat well, but your genetics are not good. Every first cousin you have has had a bypass surgery, and so did your dad, and you are too. If you don't, you know, do something about this. So finally, I did relent, and I take a very small dosage of a statin. I take like 5 milligrams every day, and my cholesterol is total cholesterol is much lower, um, and of course, then it's a chain reaction. So then the doctor says, but when you have statins, it affects your body in other ways. So now you should also take an enzyme called CoQ10 to offset the effect of taking the statin. And, you know, to me, whenever I'm told to take something, it makes a lot of sense if I have a deficiency of it. You know, they do a test and they say, well, you don't have enough vitamin D, so you need to either eat more foods with vitamin D or take a vitamin D supplement. That makes sense to me. But when you start saying, well, now you have to take this supplement because I gave you that, and then you're going to have to take a third thing because of the second thing I gave you, you know, where does all of that end? You know, it seems like you're better off just stopping everything and starting from scratch.
Right. It's a
Yeah,
slippery slope.
that's right. And you know, Anthony, we will never we are totally not allowed, and we will never tell you not to follow the advice of the doctors. And you know, of course, but what you're saying is exactly right. You know, you one follows the other, and you know, then causes this and that, and um, but um, within the year, you know, with this year that we're working, um, we now, Marlies and I now feel, you know, we tackled with the Nijmel Marathon. Basically, in this Centrathon program, we tackle the running, so the exercise and the nutrition. With the Nijmel Marathon, we started with what we called ESS, the energy supply switch, which is going away from the sugar dependency and into kind of the fat burning and upping your base level of your fat burning ability. We did that through the sugars. Now we learned that the seed oils and the vegetable oils are a more structural problem because it is nested in our body. So insulin resistance we can reverse by basically doing drastic things. But um, the seed oils and the amount of unsaturated the PUFAs in your body, to me, explains why some people feel they are tired if they are going on our program, because the fats stored in your body are simply insufficient to kind of create enough energy based on the fat metabolizing potential that you have in your body. So we can we have to, and we can turn around that now, because also the doctors like Dr. Shannon and Dr. Peter Tia and Dr. Rhonda Patrick, you know, all these uh, YouTube internet doctors who have a numerous amount of lectures, they all say it's reversible through nutrition, and that's the new thing, because we learned in the past 50 years to reverse things through medicine, and now we are reversing it through nutrition, which is a totally different concept. And basically that's what we're doing here in this program, to combine the exercise. And Marcella is not here, but she is a she works for hours not in a garden, but everything during summer and everything. And I know Rita, who also left the call, but she works on farms, and they call it farm fit. Farm fit is a real interesting topic because they're carrying things the whole day and digging holes, and you know that's really a real fitness too. Um, so and they are like Rita is really into the low carbs now and aware now of the vegetable oils. So reversing the process, and the only thing is, the sad thing in my presentation is it's not going fast. You have to be patient because what you've been building for 30, 40 years, as I did, and I know Marlies did, and in fact we did with our children as well, you know, because we offered them the healthy sunflower oils in the beginning as well. But you have to reverse it. So that's the whole thing. But it can be a pleasant process. It's not a starvation process, or it's not a ridiculous process. It's just having the courage to change your habits. Look in your kitchen, look at the labels, and now not just with the carbs and the sugars, but also with, if you see seed oils, if you see a salad and it contains seed oils. What Marlies and I just found out, all mayonnaise, every mayonnaise you find, you know, I was so proud. I created my own tuna salad, but I put mayonnaise in it. 70% of mayonnaise is sunflower oil. It's incredible. It's in everything. So yeah, that we have to be honest and we have to be courageous and get rid of it and then see what's happening. And I trust that that will be for the good cause. And maybe even Anthony, that could have been in your family. It's so easy to say it is genes and it is everything, because maybe the patterns in the family were the same, without knowing that we did the wrong thing in nutrition wise, because not doctors never looked nutrition wise. They always looked like, hey, yeah, I studied medicine, I studied, okay, this is the protocol for this, what happened. So I'm going to prescribe you this medicine instead of the other thing. Yes, please, George.
No, I just had a question on shopping lists. I know for the low carbs, probably green leafy vegetables is the way to go. To get your veggies and keep the carbs grams kind of low. But when it comes to fats, is there some guidelines on the Breakthrough group website that has those lists, or is it in that book so that we could shop for the good fats? Like, because it sounds like low low fat cottage cheese is good, because it's high in protein, low in carbs, and the saturated fats. I guess I'm not sure where we stand on that. I heard the part about we can eat the eggs and not worry about the cholesterol, but then on saturated fats, I still kind of got the question, because I got 4% cottage cheese last week, but I thought, man, maybe I should go back to the low fat cottage cheese. So yeah, shopping lists, groceries, because now that the carbs are out, the processed stuff, now I gotta figure out what else I can put in my shopping bag, because right now my shopping bag is only half full because of all the stuff I can't get.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Marlies, I know. Please go ahead. But we are looking for fatty yogurt, fatty cheese, fatty milk, because all the fats in those nutritions are saturated fats.
Saturated, yeah.
So, George, that to me, for now, that's the answer. Look for the fatty types in the shops. So the fatty yogurt.
And they taste better too.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
yeah, it sounds like I'm going to be we are going to be on a voyage of discovery that Briney's already started to go down. So more saturated fats.
Yeah, we're looking back, basically the fatty milk, even the oat milks. We are now, Marlies and I, doing a whole research over different shops to find the most fatty non-sugar milk that's available, and they are there. We found that soy milk, regular unsweetened soy milk, contains a lot of fat and no sugars, which is amazing because you think soy is carbs, but basically it's very low on sugars and very high on fat. So yeah, that's what you have to do in the end. The types of meat with lots of fats and the types of fish, well, we know the sardines and the tuna and all the mackerel. Rita was asking for mackerel. That's a perfect fish. That's so rich in fats, good monosaturated and saturated fats. So and of course a bit of omega-3, so the polyunsaturated fat, but the good ones in the combination of the saturated fats. So yeah, I would look for all the fatty stuff and see if there are no seed oils in it, and then they're okay. In where I am, do you agree, Marlies, that that's
Yeah.
basically the fatty stuff without seed oils?
Yeah, and if you combine everything, we like to have an oven with put a big plate with all veggies on it, and then sweet potato, and then on top of it, the fatty part of the chicken, so the chicken tights, and that contains a lot of fat, and that's not only very tasteful, but it also prepares and it tastes so much better with the full amount of food on the plate in the oven with the veggies. And it contains the saturated fat. So, and the other parts of the chicken are so dry and it's hard to eat and to chew on it. So it's, yeah, if it tastes good, then most of the time you make the right choice. That's in my opinion. If you have the real food, not the processed food, of course, but the real food.
Then how do you explain
Exactly.
beer?
I'm sorry?
I said, then how do you explain beer? Because
Good
beer never
one.
tasted good to me, but a lot of people couldn't live without it.
Well, talking about beer, it is very pure. So if you keep the intake low, then you sometimes can have a beer, in my opinion. It's a better choice than a soda, than any kind of juice. So if
Liquors.
you, whatever, exactly. So if you have the choice between different stuff beside water or a regular tea or coffee, then beer is definitely a good option, a better option than anything else which is filled and loaded with carbs and fat sugars.
I just wanted to make one more suggestion, maybe for Anthony, which you might find interesting. I'm reading a book. It's called How Not to Die.
Really?
And basically the topic is what you are eating. And Anthony, you might find it interesting with respect to statins and heart disease.
All right. Well, thank you. Yeah, thank you so much, Brian.
How
That's
Not to
How
Die.
Not to
Who's the
Die. All
author?
right.
Yeah, can you type in the chat the title and the author, the writer, the book, please?
Yeah, I'll do that. How not to die. So what do I press on chat? Is that what I
Yes.
do? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
The
please.
chat. Where am I now?
Sorry, I have
Message the
one quick
group.
question.
Yeah, of course, Daniel.
So you guys are talking about getting rid of those fats. I forgot what you called them, but it takes like 2 years. But if you're like fasting and stuff and you just get rid of all your fat, basically, would that make it faster, get rid of it faster? Or is it still going to take 2 years?
Very good question. Bas, do you want to answer it?
Oh,
Or,
yes. Yes, please. Well, with
because
the
I
fat.
know, yeah.
Yeah, please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Well, it would definitely, when you do fasting or you do even a bigger step, the autophagy, to get into autophagy, it will definitely speed up the process.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because yeah, I've lost a few pounds and like I don't know if I get down to like 5% body fat, I don't think there's going to be really any, what kind of fat is that called? The vegetable oil that it
The
gets in our
PUFAs, you
fat?
mean? The
Yeah,
PUFAs,
okay. Yeah, I started
saturated fats,
okay. Yeah,
saturated fats.
I started listening to the book, or me and Amy did, and it's really dense, so it's hard to listen to it all at once. But okay, thank you.
Yeah, it's a great question, Daniel. And in general, what we believe is the fasting is, of course, it's accelerating. I truly believe it's very healthy in general, what we think. If you talk about 5% body fat, that's really low. I mean, that's really exceptionally low. But that's not a necessity. So 15, 18%, even for our sporty kind of people, is already great. But the effect of shutting down your metabolism a period, for a period of time, on a frequent basis, is what all the scientists and doctors say, and even the kind of the Eastern philosophers, like the fasting. Uh, it's very beneficial for your whole metabolism, for your whole being, to not having to digest for just a day or a couple of hours. And so that alone is already very beneficial.
Yeah, and talking about the fats, Daniel, if you are able to replace the bad fats with the saturated fats, that is good as well. So if your goal is to lose weight and get rid of the fats, but until a certain point. So you need the fats for your hormones and everything, and to keep warm and to have that extra energy. So don't underestimate the function of the fats. But if you're able to replace the bad stuff, if that is in your body, with the saturated fats, then you're on the right track, and then you will see different numbers in the blood.
Okay. And so we're kind of replacing the carbohydrates with a higher fat consumption now, so we can eat more fat without gaining as much weight, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're with basically we're not doing a diet. It's just a change in the macros. And
Yeah.
if the calorie intake stays the same, of course you're not losing or gaining weight, but the whole process of your metabolism is going to change, which is the big gain. And now with the new insights of the seed oils that are in many ways toxic and not efficient, and driving us towards sugar cravings and things. So yeah, if you just get rid of it and focus on what George just says, if you go shopping and you look at the dense saturated fats, and you look at the dense fatty yogurts and the fatty cheeses and the fatty fishes, and of course then you're on the good track, because then basically you have your calorie intake and you have the good fats. They are stored in a good way. They can generate energy from the ketones. The whole process we're in, the level of glucose and the ketones creates autophagy. You're in a deeper sleep. You're longer into all the things, and yeah, that's probably the way to go for health, driven by nutrition. And that basically that's what we do with the Breakthrough and with the Sentinel program.
What the general explanation for what we do right now, the process where we are in, is that you're having maybe an engine right now that runs on a 60-70% capacity, and we're going to upper it and replace it with the good stuff, so your engine has a full capacity. So now it feels maybe a little bit you need some maintenance, and then if you replace it with the good fats and the good stuff and the good nutrition, then you will feel that your engine is running proper again and is using the full capacity. So you're full of energy.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. All right, guys. We're over time, so I'm sorry about that we are taking longer than an hour. So let's wrap it up. We will definitely have more topics. The cholesterol is another one, but we are not there yet with the PUFAs, so we will continue on that. If you have any questions on this topic, please let us know. We are basically on the same process. We are guiding and leading and coaching. But please, if you have these kind of suggestions and thoughts, and what you just said, George, with the shopping list and everything, where do I need to focus on what in your daily life? Please let us know, please. And then we share again the questions on the next group call from the one-on-one calls, and that we all benefit from it. So if there are no more questions, I think Sharon will continue her strength training session. And then
You
let's
got
wrap
it.
Yes. So let's wrap it up, guys. I thought it was a very wonderful meeting, and thanks, guys, and see you next week, and maybe in between with the personal calls.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Awesome.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
Thank
Good
you.
call. Good call.